G'day, Laura Louise Love here, psychologist and mum, going for a little pram walk with baby Joey in the park. And today I'd love to talk to you about how we can grow from our grief. And as many of you would know, I've recently just come back from a funeral for my beloved grandpa, Dr. Joseph Sethi, and any of you that had the pleasure to know him, my condolences are with you too. This has really caused me to reflect on what the grieving process is all about and how we can actually grow with our grief and not be stuck in some of those destructive kind of ways that we can take out our emotions on other people and stay stuck in like depression and anger. If we maybe aren't aware of what's going on as we process the grieving and bereavement process. So I'd love to share with you just some information, some of the best stuff that I'm aware of when it comes to how to heal from bereavement and loss and how to kind of cope with this change. So it's really important, I've been working for a therapist as a long time, that we don't confuse children when we talk about death. Many children come to me very confused by how we try and soften informing them about a significant loss that's happened in the family. So, saying that we've lost grandma, we lost someone, often children go, okay, let's go find them. So it's important that we are able to tell them that, yes, they died, and not using euphemisms and half-truths, which often really do confuse children and adds to just the emotional turmoil they might be going through. Another thing is like passed away. So kids will often go, okay, I don't think they've died, I think they've just gone away on a holiday. So it's really important just to be clear. You don't need to share all the details, but that someone has died and they're no longer alive, their body isn't here, and then tie that in with your spiritual beliefs and your worldview. About 78% of kids and students are bereaved of a close friend or family member, so we're all processing grief in some way, and about 4 to 7% of children are bereaved of a parent, which is really sad. So it's important to be sensitive to some of this kind of stuff. So the best model that I kind of use when it comes to understanding grief and bereavement is by the world-renowned psychiatrist Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. I think she spent her final years of her life in Mount Tamborine, I think up in the Gold Coast, funnily enough. So she has the 5 stages of grief model, and the truth is we dip in and out of this. And the stages are, first, denial and isolation. This isn't happening, it's too emotionally overwhelming, maybe even feeling like life is meaningless. Anger comes up as well, so that things should have been different. Maybe there was some stuff we might have needed to have cleaned up with that person and we didn't get a chance to do that, or just feeling anger at the way things could have been different, and then feeling guilt towards ourselves for feeling this anger and frustration, but it's perfectly normal. And then depression, that sadness that comes with the grieving process, spontaneous crying, things like that, memories that can surface, and then finally acceptance. So we will go between these stages, and there's no time amount. The grieving process is a journey, and the truth is we really grow around our grief. The world-renowned Louise Hay, motivational speaker and author, has often said that it takes a full year at least to even start the grieving process. Seasons, birthdays, anniversaries, and things like that. So I hope just at least understanding that this is all normal. It takes time. Your grief, your process is a journey, and there's no right or wrong way to do this. Might just help you have a little bit more understanding towards yourself and others. Other significant losses in our lives can also bring up some strong emotions, just like that grief stages model that I talked about. So, miscarriage, significant betrayal, loss of a friendship might also bring these things up as well. So, death and You know, the cycle of life is often just a really powerful message that this isn't a dress rehearsal, and a reminder to live fully. So wishing you hope and healing and clarity and insight as you grow around your grief. And I hope the tips in here have been useful. I'd love to hear if there are any specific things you kind of do for yourself or others that help you cope a little bit better with grief and bereavement. And any tips that you'd like to share, I'd love to hear them. Thanks so much for listening. Namaste.